So, hello everybody, welcome back. I wanted to talk to you right now about how to help to do dishes with no water whatsoever because I having apparently this is like a popular topic or something. So, I got a request about how do we do with the coffee thing, with the you know cleaning the whole thing, doing the dishes. So, before I continue, I wanted to remind you that down below is my email in case that you want to help me out by sending an awesome gift card. And I also have two videos on wishlist, and then I have, books that are on the Gumroad page. So thank you for supporting that one. So, anyway, so here's the deal. So, my sink has two, you know. So, before you want to do this, you want to take a look at your feet. And then you're kind of like, what? Well, here is the deal. You're going to be using this area, which is usually short. Now, this means that a lot of water will be coming down. It also means that if you're cleaning something, it might drop. If it drops, guess where the hell it's going to land? Oh, hell yeah, it's going to land on your feet. So if you do not want to be hurt or whatever, then, you better have good shoes. Now, here's the deal. Men usually, when they are trying to do the dishes and stuff, and usually when they are around, carrying buckets and stuff, the best shoe for men will be fisherman kind of wearing. Now, why? Because fisherman things are meant for water. Basically, you will not damage it, and they will not be stinky, and they will not, do something to your feet like making them become smelly or something. So hell no, you want to have fisherman kind of thing. Now, if not, then wear plastic boots. Now, if you are wearing plastic boots, make sure that the bottom part of the shoe is not the one that will stop you, and is the one that will allow you to walk normally. Here's why. Because a lot of shoes, if you don't have the plastic boots, it doesn't matter as long as you know that you're going to make them wet. So if you're going to make the shoes wet, then you need to make sure that you make them dry later on, because otherwise they will become stinky. And if you're wearing flip-flops, well, like I said, you probably have this situation covered. And here's the deal. A lot of elderly people have shoes that are, if you walk, they will be kind of like sticky. And that way, you are not sleeping. However, if you are moving from here to here to here, yeah, you need to move. And every time that you're moving, if you are all of a sudden, stuck, oh hell, you're going to fall. So you need to make sure that the shoes that you're wearing are proper for whatever the hell you're doing, including doing the dishes. Number 2, you want to take a look at the floor. Why? Well, because let's see, if you're moving from here to there, from here to there, and all of a sudden there is something here, oh hell, you're probably going to fall. And falling in the middle of you being, wet and everything, oh yeah, that's not going to look very nice, especially during hard times in which you probably don't want to go to a doctor. So anyway, okay, having taken care of your feet and the aisle, the clear aisle and stuff, then becomes the problem with the freaking water. Now, you want to do an inventory of the water that you have and make sure that the water that you have for doing the dishes is the one that you have for that. Meaning, okay, you have 100 liters for the whole day. You are going to spend 20 liters doing the dishes. Now, if you're doing the dishes and you don't realize how much water you are using, then you did the dishes and realize that instead of spending 20, you spent 40 or 60 liters, and then you don't have water for flushing the toilets or showering or whatever. So no, you need to place, 3 containers with water. Some people will wear 4, but, we use 3. You can use 4 if you want. So in the first one, you place it, on the right. This one is for the pre-rinse situation. I'm going to tell you about it later. This one requires half of that container. Okay, so if this sink will be the whole thing, you fill it up to the middle. or you keep it in the container and you don't fill it up entirely. Now the second one, you want to have it like 3/3 filled, like 3/4 or something like that, but not to the top, like up to here, because this is like the area for rinsing. And then you want to have the other place here, which is like the second rinse. And some people will have a fourth one there, so it will be like steps, the step by step. So first of all, figure out how much water you need. Secondly, have that water at hand. Third, after you have the water like in a place like this, you have it nearby, and then you mop again, because otherwise you will be falling all over the place. Now that you have the water situation sorted, the first thing that you need to do is this place needs to be clean. This one, if it is dirty or if it's filled with fungus and stuff, then what the hell are you doing the dishes for if that thing is going to be touching fungus or anything? So you need to clean this. Rule 1, you clean this. Number 2, you clean this. And number 3, if you wear something like a towel or something here, you need to make sure that this one is dry. Okay? So you change it and you put it dry. And that is like the first step. Second step, you separate all of your dishes and stuff. You put all the cups in one side. You put everything else in here, but if you have things like pans and stuff, you need to place them in someplace else, away from glass. Because if metal crashes against this, oh hell, this will break. So all the things that are metal, you're supposed to put apart, okay? And then after you have separated everything, after you have that, you have the soap there, and you have the proper sponges and stuff, and then the toothbrush or whatever the hell you're going to use, and then you place it there. Now, you can do whatever you want first, meaning you can start by this or you can start by that. Whatever you want is fine. Okay, so very important. You want to have here like a piece of lemon or orange or whatever kind of citric, an entire citric in there. Because if you have something that here has eggs or milk or coffee, those 3 smells are very strong. And if you are washing the dishes and stuff, they might stink later to eggs or milk and whatever. And 1 out of every 4 people will realize that this thing stinks like egg or whatever. And then you might be like, what the hell, I did everything right. Yeah, I'm sorry, but this thing smells like egg. So yeah, it's not good. That's why you want to have that, and then you grab it, you place it there, and then you rinse or do whatever. And then that way it will be citric and it will be okay and you can deal with it, okay? So you do in here the first pre-rinse, meaning see how it has a little bit of food in it? Yeah, the first step is to take the sponge and just take the food out. And then, you take all the food out in there. Now, before you even bother doing that, make sure that your sink has this. Because if it doesn't, and then you accidentally take all of the food through this place, it will be stuck there. And if it's stuck there, then you will have to call a plumber, or you will have to do all the work for the inner plumbing and stuff. So no, you want to try to hold all the food in here and change it all the time that you need to. So sometimes I have to change this 2 times or 3 times every time that I'm doing the dishes. So if I see that the water is being stuck, I will pull it up a little bit, and then I will take this, put it in the trash, and then place it, clean it, and then place it back in, and then I will clean again this thing. And then I will continue, because otherwise this thing will be a problem. Also, like I said, you need to clean this very properly, because if it is filled with grease or whatever, then that grease or whatever will be stuck into that thing. So first step, you do the pre-rinse. Make sure that nothing has food. Secondly, you do the dishes according to whatever order you want. Like I said, some people start with the pan, some people start with this, whatever. But the point is that you need to be very careful when you're placing it here. Here's why. Okay, so I'm showing you, like I said, I'm grabbing this, yeah, and then, that thing is going to fall. That's why also you never want to be barefoot or anything in the kitchen. And now, like I said before, very important. If, let's say that instead of you having this, you have, glasses or something else that is smaller in here. Oh hell, you have no idea how many times that have happened, and then bye mug, bye whatever the hell you had in there. So no, if you're going to place this, you put it like that in the side, like this. Kind of like that. Or you can hand them, or you can just leave them, or you can dry them right away. So anyway, also very, very, very important. If you are going to dry these things, you need to make sure that your towel is not wet at all. The towel that you need to use for, drying these things needs to be completely dry. Now, the towel that you use for these things, you need to change it constantly. Because here is the deal. If you have bacteria in here, and then, you put it to other things, the bacteria will spread. And if the bacteria spreads, then what the hell are you trying to do? So there is a reason why you want to try to use either disposable towels to dry them, or leave them be. Because if you leave them be, the sun will help you out a lot. And be careful about knives. Just as you put cups in one side of your area that you're working on, you need to put the knives and the forks and things like that in another one. Because you don't want to get your hand in there. Yeah, and then realize that, oh my god, this is a knife. Yeah, kind of like that. See? I have this because, I'm going to do the dishes in a few minutes. And I know exactly where everything is. I have a lot of light to see everything. And on top of that, I know what I'm doing. But if this was filled with water, I'd probably not be able to see that this is a knife. So if you have a lot of water and you don't see very properly because there is water in there, you're not going to see the knife. So you need to be very careful about that. Especially, if the water is contaminated and then all of a sudden you have an open wound, that you're bleeding and everything inside that water. Because water has a lot of bacteria on it, and if you have an open wound, oh hell, that can bring a lot of problems for you later on. So that's why some people, not everyone, but some people will wear gloves that are for cutting. And that way, if you touch something, it will not cut you. I have that in the Amazon wishlist things, if you want to know what the hell I mean. And anyway, besides that, I think that the most important part is that you know that this water that you put here from here in the first rinse, once it becomes kind of white with gray, you need to change it. So in order for you to make this water last you longer, what you do is you take like a cup. You take a cup from here, and then you do something like you wash this. You fill it up with soap, right? If it is soapy, like very, very soapy, and then you're trying to put it there directly, this thing will be contaminated a lot. So what you do is you take a drink of water from here and then you drop it. Kind of like do a first, again, pre-rinse. So now it is washed, but it doesn't have a lot of soap. Since it doesn't have a lot of soap, now you can do the first rinse and then the second rinse, and then some people will do a third rinse. I do too, So it will depend upon, exactly what you want. Now, these things where you cut meat, that you want to do last, and that you really need to use chlorine or whatever, because that one will hold a lot of bacteria, and that one you really 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 want to rinse 2 or 3 times and completely alone, not with everything. And that you do last. You do not do this one first, like I said, because if this one is filled with bacteria and then you put that bacteria in the first rings, whatever the hell you do in the first ring in here, it will contaminate everything else. That's why some people will rather do these ones, in another day, not the same one as right now. You see? So that's why you really want to try to do this in kind of like an order thing. So I hope that this was helpful. Thank you for watching.